Hello everyone, it is the Base Tyrant. I am back, and I am playing Tropico 6 now. This is a game where you are like a dictator on a Caribbean island, or something like that. You become a dictator of a Caribbean island, and you have to lead it from colonial times to modern times. I've had a lot of easy time with this game in the past. I'm going to be playing a sandbox game on a randomly generated map, so we'll see what happens. I've had a very easy time, never got it game over before when I was playing this, so I decided that this time around I would play on harder settings than I normally would. I'm setting foreign aid to symbolic, which is almost none, but it's kind of funny when you get foreign aid from some of the foreign powers anyway. It's basically nothing anyway. Political difficulty to aggressive, which is the highest difficulty you can have. Opposition difficulty to strong, which is also the highest difficulty you can have. And disasters to frequent, which is the highest number of disasters, the highest difficulty for that too. And I made sure that all of my settings would be basically random, except for a volcano, which is guaranteed to spawn. At least one volcano will spawn on the island, which should make the disasters even more fun. As for the pirate difficulty, this is the second highest, but that difficulty already goes up quite a bit. It increases over time, and you'll see that, like, it's basically impossible to deal with, but it's only in the colonial era anyway, so it's not going to make any difference for most of the game. Caribbean happiness also increases over time. And as you can see, it has a positive effect for it being high and a positive effect for it being low. I'm probably going to be trying to keep it as low as possible, though. Because, well, I'll explain why, but it's better for me if Caribbean happiness is really low. As far as my victory, one of the problems I ran into in the past is that I would win as soon as I reached modern times, because I would end up having a huge amount of money in my treasury. So the requirement is going to be 10 million. I don't know if that's 10 million total, or if it's 10 million at the time, like, of my victory, or if I need to have 10 million at any one time, which is probably what it is. Because in the past, I've won as soon as I reached modern times, and I did not have $10 million at that exact moment. So I think that if I ever reach 10 million, that'll be it. Swiss bank account. I usually never use my Swiss bank account, but this will mean that I'm going to have to, at the very least, earn some money in my Swiss bank account, my secret Swiss account that you have. Which means that I'm going to have to transfer that somehow, or earn that outside of this, so I don't use it. I usually have a balance of 0, but now I'll have to get that in order to win. Era, modern times, and then tasks are tasks that you do for a political faction or a foreign power. And I'll be doing tasks constantly, especially since the political difficulty is aggressive. It makes it very difficult for me to keep anyone satisfied. Normally, I have a very easy time being everyone's favorite tyrant, but playing with the highest difficulty should hopefully make people a lot more difficult to please. Because normally I have a very boring game. We'll see if that's the case this time. I suppose I have my seed clearly visible right here, so if anybody wants to, they could play whatever horrible map I'm about to generate. Hopefully. And then we will see how it goes. Alright, here we are. Time needs to be stopped immediately, and then it needs to be set to 4 so that it'll basically go really fast once I unpause it. Let's take a look here. Let's meet the people that we will be dealing with. The era outline. If you click on the era outline, then it will allow you to see what it is that you have to do, and it'll also allow you to hear from the various factions that have been introduced recently.
Now then, you should know who I am. Lord Roger Wyndham, Right Hand of the Crown. At least I was until... well, that's not your concern. I'm here to lick you lazy tropical types into shape for the Empire. You'll find me firm, but unfair, which is how it should be. So, I don't want to hear any whining. Now, where are my slippers?
Alright, so we've got the crown, right here.
I am the infamous revolutionary Sofia Ortega, and this is my struggle. My people are oppressed. We cannot benefit from our own efforts as rich men, always take what we make for themselves. But I shall not rest until my people are free. Except for sleep, and weekends, and maybe tea breaks. I shall not rest undeservedly until my people are free.
Alright, I hope that that's not too loud, because it kind of looks like it might be a little bit too loud on my OBS, but we'll find out about that later. I'll fix it in post-production anyway. Or in production. So these are the two factions.
Now then, you should know who
I am.
Okay, they introduced themselves again. The Crown and the Revolutionaries. And it's a little bit... Let me see if I understand this properly. Okay, so the Crown is the only superpower in the colonial era. And in the... In terms of political factions, we have the Revolutionaries and the Royalists. And currently I've got 50 standing with both of them. Now, the way that the colonial era works is that instead of showing the date down here, which it normally does, it shows you how long until you are replaced as governor. Now, basically, let me make sure of one thing. Okay, good. Basically, you are the governor who's been assigned by the Crown to be in charge of Tropico. You're just a colony of the Crown. And in order for you to make Tropico independent, you need to basically support the revolutionaries. There are 26 revolutionaries and 38 royalists. I need to get my faction standing with the revolutionaries up by doing things that they want me to do. They don't actually have a faction leader. I guess one will be assigned probably one of the diehard members. You can see all of your various people that are listed here. These are like citizens who are part of this faction. But you can also see them under people, which is a more helpful thing in general when trying to help people find jobs or deal with homelessness, which I have to deal with now. Let's take a look at my island that I have acquired. Okay. So I have 4 land masses. This one doesn't have any beaches. Everything is elevated. This one has plenty of beaches. This one has a good amount of wet climate, and it's got the volcano right here. I don't see more than one volcano, and this is a nice big starting island as well. In addition to being a good big starting island, I have ruins right over here. I like to plan out where I'm going to put everything ahead of time. Most likely, I'm going to put a tourist area right over here. However, my dock is spawned also kind of close by, so I'll have to be careful when I'm making the roads. But it's good to have that planned out because I like to separate my industry and my tourist trap. There's another ruin over here. That's good. 2 ruins. You can use the ruins as a tourist location. What I actually want to do is look at my overlays, though. They show me my resources. Pollution, obviously there is none. I only just started. Soil degradation, there never should be any of this. I'll show how I can prevent soil degradation. Now this is the most important thing, is the livestock, the crop conditions, and the resources. I have a lot of gold on this island, and a good amount of coal and other stuff as well. You can't really see all of the mineral resources because it only shows you some of them once you get to a certain era. But I'm going to be extraordinarily rich, which is good because I don't like to import anything ever. It's going to be an export-only economy. Then there's the different crops, which I especially want to be sure of. This, I think I'm going to enjoy this playthrough, looking at this here. With the amount of sugar that I have, okay, tobacco, bananas, coffee, cotton, and rubber. Okay, I mean, I didn't ask for this, but I do have a really good amount of resources. Cattle, sheep, crocodiles, pigs, llamas, and goats. Okay. What I'm gonna want to do is make use of this area over here. And the first thing I need to do is build some roads. Because I have a ruin over here, I want to build like kind of a straight road here and then split it off between the industry area and the, yeah. Everything that is to this direction will be plantations and ranches, and then some industry over here. And I want to try and avoid this area for now. So let me go ahead and quickly place down my plantation. Sugar should always go first because rum is like one of the most valuable things you could possibly have. Now, I could just put down a bunch of sugar plantations if I wanted to, but if I did that, then I would end up not being able to do, I would end up with bad soil degradation. You basically, the longer your plantation is running, the more your resource, the more soil degradation there is. But you can actually completely prevent it by having multiple plantations next to each other, working on different things. It's interesting that it didn't give me any plantations to begin with, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of that due to the fact that that means I can choose where everything will go. I want to ideally place everything in such a way, in a very specific way. I'll explain it actually when I'm done placing it. Alright, let me just go ahead and let this run. I don't know, I want to make sure that I don't put any of the same resource, basically, but I can only double check what I actually did once I have completed them. And now I want to go ahead and multiculture. Now, to be fair, what I've done here is probably too much, but it'll be fine. Let me go ahead and switch all of these. So normally, the normal work mode for these is monoculture. It operates on full efficiency, but decreases the fertility in the vicinity, by which it means the soil degrades. Multiculture decreases the efficiency by 40%, but it doesn't decrease the fertility over time. And the plantation gets a 10% efficiency for other plantations in the vicinity with a different crop running on the same work mode. So, by doing this, and then having sugar, corn, tobacco. Here, let me make sure they're all on multiculture. Pineapple. They lose 40% efficiency, however, by having them all close by to each other, I will have it so that way you can see there's actually more than 4 in this vicinity. They aren't all within range of each other, but some of them in the middle, like my sugar plantation, is in range of everything. And the way that that's going to work is, let me double check this is the right thing. So they're all on monoculture. This is banana, this is pineapple, this is corn, this is sugar, this is cotton, and this is tobacco, and they're all on multiculture. So if you look at, say, my banana or my sugar, which is in range of everything, and then you look at efficiency, it's minus 40% work mode. It's minus 1% fertility because of the fact that I took 1 whole day to switch it over. I mean, that's just ridiculous how quickly the fertility falls. But it'll never fall again. And the multiculture gives it a 50% efficiency bonus. So it's actually more efficient on multiculture, and it won't degrade the soil at all, which is really, really good. And I have space for another one right here. I just wanted to make sure that I did a different crop. So pineapple, banana, corn, sugar, cotton, tobacco, and then if I construct one more and make it, say, coffee, and coffee is something I could put over here, in fact. Let's say that it was, I don't have any cotton, do I? I don't have any cotton, I don't think. Was one of these banana? Let me double check. Yeah, this is banana. So, I could go ahead and make it so... What am I doing? Pineapple, banana, corn, sugar, cotton, tobacco. I don't have any cocoa. Okay. I don't have any cocoa, and I don't have any coffee. Alright. So... I don't have a cocoa plantation, and I don't have a coffee plantation, so I can squeeze those into here. Looking at my money just really quickly, I haven't spent very much, and I don't have a coffee plantation, which I can also squeeze in just right here. It's not 100% efficient, but it's close enough. And then, once I'm done with those, and they are constructed, then I will be doing really well. Now, the only downside of this is that it takes up a massive amount of space, as you can see, but also, this requires a lot of workers, which isn't really that bad. I mean, it provides a lot of jobs, but it does require a lot of workers, and I only have 90 people living on this island. But more people are moving here really quickly. That's, 11 more people that just came in recently. Multiculture, and then this will be also multiculture. And then looking at this, it's got 60% efficiency. This building has got 70% efficiency bonus. So 126%, and this is the banana one. What about the sugar? That is 60%.
corruption is so rife, Governor, that we have to pay a bribe to find out how much to pay in bribes.
So ultimately, you can see how it's extremely efficient, and that's all the resources that I need from plantations for a good long while. All these new employees are moving in as well. Now, I've received a demand from the revolutionaries. They want me to build a pirate cove, which is good, because I want to build a pirate cove.
Excuse me, old sport. I need a teensy tiny favor.
Okay, and the crown wants me to build a dungeon. And that's good, because I also probably should build a dungeon, although not for the reasons that the crown wants me to. So let me go ahead and do that. Raids and military. Pirate Cove. Now, the Pirate Cove doesn't need to be in a specific location, but it does need to have access to a road, and it needs to be built on the coast, and I occasionally may need to make deliveries to my Pirate Cove as well, so it can't be in like the world's most inconvenient location. I'll put it here, and then I will extend the road. I really want to keep the real estate around the dock, like, focused on resources that are being exported. So I built the plantations here because there's a lot of room here. And as you can see, there's all these shacks right here. So I want to build the roads so they take up as little space as possible. So I don't like them to be curved unless it's like along a beach or the land is perfectly curved right there. You can get into trouble making roads that are curved rather than in a grid. Now, the reason why we have a bunch of shacks here is because these people, if I had to guess, their workplace is the plantation. Everybody wants to live close to where they work, so as soon as I built all of these jobs over here, everybody moved in to these shacks since there's nowhere for them to live. I appear to have a ranch here. Okay, that's all well and good. I might move that later. I don't need to move it right now. There's some country houses here and one bunkhouse, which is low-income housing. And this is well-off, normal income housing. So what I want to do is build a little neighborhood here to support this. Actually, do I even have any kind of entertainment buildings? Usually it'll give you a ranch, a construction office, a teamster's office, one or a couple more bunkhouses, and a few country houses, but I don't even see any entertainment buildings at all. So I will quickly build a tavern, because I don't have any entertainment on this island. And what I'll do is I'll build the tavern. I might go ahead and... Who lives here and where do they work? These people all work at the Teamsters office and the construction office. And where do you guys work? You guys work at the plantation. You're unemployed. Well, you're not gonna be able to afford housing. You're a criminal. That's not good.
Nice weather.
Right, I need to build that dungeon to deal with that guy. That's what I'm more concerned about. So what I should do is quickly, before I start building anything, let's take a look here. Before I institute any of this, what is this? Oh, okay. Food for the people. Yeah. Urban development. It costs 7,500 money, and it makes it so all the costs of all residential buildings are reduced by 50% for a short time, which is worth the money. But first, before I do that, I need to double check. This will provide housing for 6 households. I've got 99 people. If I check the almanac, homeless citizens is 68. There are 38 homeless families, specifically. So, doing the math, I'm going to want to institute this edict.
As much as the people enjoy sleeping under the stars and huddling together for warmth at night in their ramshackle lean-tos, it might be worth considering some long-term plans for housing. With an urban development fund, we can make it so much cheaper to build accommodation that we can soon turn our beautiful islands into smoggy cities before we even have time to think twice about why we are doing it.
All right, that's great. So we'll do that. That seems to cost a lot, but it's going to lower the cost of... I don't have a lot of money, so when I'm building, like, 6 of these, it's going to be kind of important that I build them kind of close together. And I also would ideally want to build them in such a location. Residential buildings don't need to have direct road access, so I don't want to build them directly on the road, but I want to build them close to the workspace and also close to all of where I'm going to put all the other amenities, like their healthcare and, religious buildings. I don't even think there's a single church in this now that I look at it. So that's not good. I'll fix that in a minute. Ideally, in order to save money, I want to build some houses over here and have them be able to kind of like walk. Or over here and have them be able to walk to the entertainment buildings and to work and to everything else I need. But I don't want to build them directly on the road because I might build something else there, as much as I can avoid it.